Hello and good day. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow Draconians, to Season 15 of Dwarven Realms Early Access Guide. You can see here, we got a little notification, early development, you need assistant report bugs, go to the Discord. So, got a little nice intro screen there. And they got a link to the Discord down here. You can see the version is 0.49, currently being recorded on October 9th of 2023. So, seasons are currently about 3 weeks long. We're 4 days into this one. Something like that. 3-4 days. Anyways, so we got a lot of information to cover where there's been a lot of changes since the last season guide. So, we're just going to try and go through this as quickly as we can. So, loadings or beginning screen, you can check out the current ladder. You can see the top 3 winners from the last season, the timer to the next season, or end of this season. Currently, when a season ends, your characters and all their gear and everything are erased. New season, you had to create new characters and everything. So that's how that is currently set up. There have been talks of creating a character save between seasons. No current timeline or anything like that. You got a settings button. You can turn on and off a handful of things. You can change the graphical settings. Sometimes vertical sync will need to be on or off based on your personal settings. Sound slider bars. Some of these are connected to weird things. So the master volume sound might be connected to some monster sounds at this time. They're balancing those constantly. Input settings. So these are key bindings and stuff like that. You can avert your mouse and change the sensitivity. You can rebind things. For example, the town portal is usually B. I put mine on Shift B so I don't accidentally hit it. The thumb button for auto run, along with there we go. So I've rebound the Q skill to my thumb button and the auto run, which is usually the tilde, to my thumb button too. Based on my personal preferences, you can change these as you fit. You hit play, you enter your character screen. You can have up to 6 characters. They currently have a limited number of options for character creation. You can see if you're softcore or hardcore based on this. If you are hardcore, your name will be orange instead of white. And it will also reflect... hey, Coper. It'll also reflect here. You can see the orange for the hardcore. You can see 0 deaths. And then note down here on the bottom, hardcore character. There are fellowships, aka guilds, if you will. They have levels and stuff. You can kind of get a quick glimpse on where other people are at. So Craterman, who is one of the developers. By the way, this is a team of 2, Craterman and Elbebo. Elbebo, upon occasion, hasn't done a little bit, but he streams as well. He does some game development and playtesting and stuff like that. But Craterman is currently in the Tomb of Ancients cellar. So it looks like he's at level 2. Ancient Catacombs 2, I think it is. You can see what kind of weapon type that each player is maining, whether it's 2-hand, spears, mage, mauls, bows, 1-hand. And we'll go more into the skills based on that. You can see who is online based on the green dot over here. The placement, this is the leaderboard, is based currently on level. They did a season where it was based on Rupture level. So if it was based on Rupture level, Toflump would actually be number 5 and not number 1 instead of number 5. You can also gain access to the settings, go back to your character selection, or leave the game from here. You also have a link to the Discord right there as well. So you know what? Just to make this easier, I'm going to go ahead and turn my face off. You ain't got to see me. So this is the home fort now. It used to be an entirely different place. This currently has all of the workstations, as far as I'm aware. Has all of the workstations that you will need. This thing right here is a chest that I actually made based off of this. As you progress through the ruptures, these will progressively unlock or appear in your home fort. When it appears, you will have a little yellow light that kind of points you to it, and a light that appears above it. That will last for about 15 seconds, and then it'll turn off, telling you, hey, you have something new, and this will appear, or this will happen as you progress through these ruptures. You complete a level 1 rupture, and this workbench and the furnace will show up, and then the next one, the mortar will show up, the next one. the playing station will show up, and then the next one, the scholar's desk will show up, and then after that, in a certain order that I'm not familiar with. But they will progressively show up as you gain resources, levels, rupture levels, and stuff like that. The color of the portal also indicates one piece of information. It is currently orange. When you first start out, it will be green. Once you have completed level 35 or higher rupture, that will tell you are no longer in the story ruptures, you are now in the end game stuff. It used to be you would progress linearly from the beginning of the story maps all the way through to finding the home fort, and then you would start in the end game maps. They've revamped that in a bit. As you can see, there's this little yellow icon at the end of all of these. Level 35 there is not, and then if we scroll all the way down, level 61 to 65, which is what I currently have access to, also does not. Those are for completing ruptures, and these are the inscribed Rupture Quartz. You use these at this workstation right here, the infused Rupture Crystals. You turn in 5 quartz for 1 buff. As you progress, and this guy over here will be your workstation upgrader. Real quick, it will look like this. When he has an upgrade available for you to get in the home fort, he will have this icon. Whether you are able to do it or not is a different story. But you can come here, there'll be a sparkling circle around whatever workstation is upgradable. It will either unlock new patterns, or in the instance of the research table, it will increase your experience gains. Okay, so here, I've upgraded this station a little bit, so I have 4 rerolls. I started out with 1. I'm going to real quick find... You can also see how many upgrades I've taken of this one. I have 1. I can get 3 more. I'm going to reroll. There's another one that I've got more of. Oh, experience bonus. You can get some extra inventory slots. Those will be helpful for modify you get on your pet, which I'll show you in a little bit. Oh, damage. I might just do the damage and strength. Actually, that seems like a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one. 20% damage, 10 strength. As you progress, you will gain inventory slots, or not gain them. You will gain gear for your inventory slots. In the very first handful of levels, you will have to make them yourself. You will gain the resources to make these, as well as defeating the Rupture boss will unlock the recipe. There will be an altar at the boss arena. You loot the boss chest, and it gives you a key to unlock the recipe. That recipe then applies in here. As you can see, I have quite a number of these, and each of these progressively, based on zone, will require different resources. I believe it is every 5 Rupture levels. So the Rupture level 1 through 5 will be the first section or first environment, and then 6 through 10 will be the second environment, and 11 through 15, and so on and so forth, until you get to the level 36, which then becomes random. There are 6 times 4, so 24 different zones you can load into for an endgame rupture. Each boss level area will have different recipes to unlock, jewelry patterns, gear patterns, stuff like that. So you'll gain things like these in along the storyline maps, and in some of the endgame ones. Actually, in the endgame ones, you will find these normal ones. So there's Band of the Mark Sogus. There's also Mythical Band of the Mark Sogus. This is from a special endgame map called the Catacombs. You'll gain access to that at a certain point, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But the mythical ones are tier 2. The normal ones are tier 1. There is also tier 3. For example, this weapon that I have here. Item level is a good example of what tier it is. This is only item level 27, but it is a tier 3 weapon. Item levels are a new addition to, I believe, since last season. So some of the stuff I have made, some of it I have gotten. As you can see, I've got orange gear. Orange is supposed to be comparable to purple. Tier gear is based off of gray, green, blue, purple, and yellow. Yellow and purple are kind of interchangeable, but it's basically tiered on that. Dragonling. You will come across a Dragonling in one of the first few ruptures. It will have energy increase. As you progress, you'll be able to take your Dragonlings and actually disenchant them in the disenchanting table to gain Dragonling blood, which will gain access to the Alicia's chamber key, which you can use those to acquire this scale of Alicia to upgrade your Dragonling. So this one started out with 3 modifiers. So based on what's here, I've gotten 3 more modifiers. I can get 1 more with this, and then if I go in, I can get another scale, so I can technically get 2 more modifiers to increase the Dragonling. You get a endgame Dragonling once you hit character level 100. Toflump was saying that the weapon might actually be tier 2. I'm unfortunately not familiar enough with that, so I can't quite answer that. So, as you progress through ruptures and whatnot, you will gain gear. You can disenchant it. The disenchanting will gain you, once you get to end level, it'll give you this stuff, which is used for creating maps. The map systems change now. These are primarily used for getting keys to the catacomb. As you can see here, I have 2 out of the 6 required items. I need more of these. If I want to create more of this Mirth one, because that's the lowest, I need to use this resource here. Eventually, you'll actually want to use those for upgrading your crafting. Crafting is primarily done inside of ruptures, creating jewelry and other gear, whether it be your bracers or some of your starting gear. It does count towards leveling up your crafting. Now, since we are here, you can see there's 6 different weapon types: spears, mauls and staves, 2-hand, 1-hand, archery, and magery. It used to be just the first 4. They added archery and magery a handful of seasons ago. As you use the weapon, as you use a particular weapon, it will gain you skill level. Based on skill level, it will unlock different skill tree nodes, and this last one is being referred to as a paragon level. So every 400 levels past level 1000, which level 1000 unlocks the last slot, so every 400 levels past that, you unlock 1 more paragon level, which means 1 more % damage in your respective skill. As you can see here, spears, all staves, 1-hands, and archery have 0 in all of them because I haven't used any of those weapon types. If you find yourself having progressed in a particular weapon type and you want to swap in the middle of the season or whenever, you can equip your particular weapon in one slot and the one you want to level up in the second slot. Activate some skills with the first one because it's leveled, you've got all your stuff going, all your procs and all that, and then you can swap over to your second one because it is monster kills that have a chance to increase your skill level for the weapon that you currently have equipped. So you can expedite the process for a different weapon the second time around. If you see at the top of the screen, I have got 3 different buffs. One is at 3 minutes, one is at 8 minutes, one is at 10 minutes. Each of these is a little bit different. We have a small experience buff, we have a small damage buff, and we have a large experience buff. The large experience buff can stack up to 100 times. The small experience buff will stack up to 300 times, and then once it hits 300, it resets. And once you get up to 300 of the power slugs, it resets and gives you a bottled slug. I'm going to go ahead and use one of these bottled slugs real quick to show you what it does. It gave me 3 stacks of the large experience buff. This is to try and help keep stacks going while you are maybe grinding at a slower pace, or you're AFK in the fort and you don't want to lose your stacks. It allows that to happen. Steelix right here is actually named after one of the community members. They can show you, so I'm currently in this, actually this fellowship has no name, but it's rank 9. Every so many kills get you 100 experience for your fellowship. The more people you have in your fellowship, the higher level it is, the more people you can have. You can see here the list of fellowships. You got 1 at rank 9, 1 at rank 5, and then 3 more at rank 1. Now, what I mentioned earlier, the experience buff, once it rolls over to 300 and it becomes a key. It becomes this one, Key to the Kingdom of Akaros. Use those keys in here and you can hop into one of 3 different fellowship maps. These have special gear, special monsters, and stuff like that. Currently, the last place has a special vendor or special item that you can loot, and it gives you the Crown of Ashtar and some health increase potions. That is something you will want to do when you can. However, you only have access to this if you are in a fellowship, so gaining access to a fellowship is important. And currently, the only way to do that or to ask for it is to be in the Discord. There is a looking for fellowship thread in there, along with general chat. Okay. Okay, so down here is your second-hand items, or offhand, sorry. These have skills. Once you get to purple tier, they have modifiers. If you see at the bottom, this one has Arcane Orb chance, so it has a 46.65% chance to proc, and it does 311% damage based off of, I believe, your base damage. And it has the modifier, if the Arcane Orb hits an enemy, it has a chance to also spawn in another Arcane Orb. I have a second one that has the same modifier. I did have another one that had the modifier of when you use it, you have a chance to spawn a second orb. So that's that one. Burning Shield is the third one that I have. It has a 23% chance to spawn, or to proc, and 147% damage. But each hit with Burning Shield will grant you an increased buff to damage and armor. I find that highly valuable for survivability. It will, if I'm not capped on my armor value, which I currently don't know what the cap is. There's no like detail value to it in the character sheet yet. But I'll gain a buff up top, and it'll show, you know, the Burning Shield and how many stacks I have to it, just like the rest of these. You see somebody is refreshing, so Canuck is in a Rupture, and they're killing slugs. So because I'm in a fellowship, somebody else in my fellowship getting those slugs is getting me these stacks, which is super helpful. As for special maps, one of the other new ones for this season, along with the Dragonling Blood, giving you the Alicia Chamber Key. There's the Pieces of Bone Key, which once you level this one up, allows you to craft the key to the Gravedigger's Cove. I didn't finish going through this, actually. So you can create these maps using the main resources, and you can turn those into catacomb keys. When you're in the catacombs, you can find this resource here, which gets you to level 2, which is also a new one of this season. Infused. Every time you open the boss area... every time you open the boss area, you get a bag of time essence. You use 5 of those to turn that into an infused time rupture beetle. This infused rupture will gain you a lot more experience. So if you're struggling and you just want to gain some more levels to, you know, give yourself some more stat points, and we'll get to this in a moment, put some more points into your skill tree, you can do that. It is a lot faster by going into the infused ones instead of just trying to grind through the normal ones. As you gain access to the anvil, you'll be able to create your own fossil of the Dwarven Demigods. I've actually been told that the second character you create for the season gets a free fossil. I don't know if that's intended. I think it's a glitch currently. So that probably won't be sticking around. But you put gems into the fossil, and that will help increase your character's ability to fight and whatnot. So I've gotten this damage gem. The small ones give you 0.01%. And then the large ones give you a larger value, which is, I believe, a 10 times 0.1. Yeah, so 0.01 to 0.1. So it costs 2,000 metal flint for a large one and 200 metal flint for a small one. So save up your resources and craft at your own will. But those will increase your character's stats and whatnot. The other gems give different values. So you got damage, armor, boss damage, experience bonus, and attack speed. You'll get purple gems later that give you damage reduction. There's also other gems. Anvil. So you got stone skins, which take these shadow stones. Once you have acquired enough scrolls from Shadow Beast within Ruptures, Shadow Beast will give you recipes for different pieces of gear. I should be learning all of these to get them out of the pool. If you have not learned it, it has another chance to drop. But once enough of them dropped, and you can start crafting, they will start dropping these instead of recipes, and then these can be used to turn into a damage reduction gem. You can use 50 super healing potions to turn into 10 max health potions. This will give you 10 max health, but it helps with modifiers like, which one is it? Not sure. I have a max health there. There's something else that gives you an extra health besides stamina. This just gives you flat bonus. I believe there is something that gives you a percentage, but I can't find it for sure. But Toflum's giving some information. Y'all give him information while I'm sitting here focusing. There's a lot of information, stuff to go over. Okay. As you're running through the ruptures, you will come across ancient runic chests. They look like sarcophagus, purple light over it. You have to have an ancient runic key to open it. You can either collect those from there's a chance to get it from a boss chest. There's a chance to get it from a monster drop, but you can craft them here at this station with a single imbued dwarven rune. Will give you 2 keys. I currently only have 1 at the moment. These are gained from a number of different special maps. You can get them from the underground. You can get them from Minlador. You can get them from catacombs. You can get them from boss chests. There's small chances for all that, whatnot. We don't have enough time to showcase any of these special maps, unfortunately, so I won't be showing you those, but they are definitely special and unique and rare drops. Another rare drop is 3 different types of foods, which give you a 1-minute buff. These used to be a lot stronger, but they've kind of done a number crunch. This gives you critical damage by 100 instead of 1,000 for a minute. And this will give you 50% or 50 damage for a minute instead of like 1,000 damage like you used to. There's another one. It's a crab claw. I currently don't have it. But it has, I think, an agility buff for 50, 25, something like that, again, for a minute. Potions, excess potions, you can see I've got my 2 stacks down here, and I continue to gain them. I can sell the extras if I want to. My personal preference is to keep a single item of every particular item that I have a chance of getting or that I can craft in slots, simply based on my preference. There is, however, a sort button up here. You can click this. I'm not going to because I don't want to reorganize everything to my preference. But you can click this and it will auto sort things to how they've set it up based on their priorities, and you can maintain it in that order if you wish. So let's see. Legendary glowing stones and flawless residue diamonds. These are acquired from Disenchanting purple and orange gear, which I also can't really showcase it, but if you have any gray, blue, yellow gear in your inventory, if you click this button, it will take all of it from here and toss it into here. Same with purple and orange. Any offhand items and any dragonlings, any extras in your inventory, if you click these buttons, it will just automatically put them in here, which is a seriously nice quality of life that they implemented a handful of seasons ago. Again, if you get any extra dragonlings that you don't need, you want to put them in here. I was selling them, unfortunately, when I could have been getting dragonling blood, which would have gotten me more of these. I'm pretty much just about done with needing that at the moment anyways. The alchemy station, if you find yourself in need of a particular piece of elemental scrap for crafting your offhands, you can come here and you can transition them. Oh, hey, I was wondering what these had gone to. If, for example, if you can see that I have 55,000 bones, which will give me a lot of mirth pass stones, I'm not going to need that many, so I can craft them and then proceed to turn those into ancient dwarven runes, which I can come over here and turn the Dwarven runes into an imbued rune. I don't have enough of those as of yet, but I can craft a bunch of these extra ones, turn them into runes, and then hopefully get myself an extra rune. Because again, they're rare, so being able to get them is helpful. So, which brings me to offhand creation. You have 3 different elements. You have arcane, lightning, and fire, and you have 3 different slots. So you have the chance to craft 1 element for each item. When you craft them here, they will be purples. I want to see if I can find the other modifier for the Horn of Arcane. So I'm going to make one of those. When you craft one of these, you have a chance to get a number of different skills based on the arcane ability. So there's, well, let's just make a couple of these because I can't remember them. Hopefully we'll get a couple different types here. So we got Deathblade here. Arcane Orb, there we go. That's the same modifier that I currently have, and then Deathblade again with a different modifier. So here we can see Deathblade with that modifier, and then Deathblade. Wait, it's the same modifier. That doesn't help. Dang. All right. Well, now I don't need any of those. This one is actually, so it has a lower proc chance and a lower damage rate. Thankfully, besides the weapon that is equipped in your current bar here, they have a comparison. So whatever's in the slot on your character, when you hover over it in your inventory, it will give you a comparison of what you're looking at, what you are possibly going to be replacing. Very nice little comparison window, super helpful. I don't need any of these, so again, I'm just going to hit this button here. Why is it not? Because I'm hitting the wrong button. They're purples, and I was hitting the purple button. I need to hit that button. There we go. See? It works. Hit the disenchant, and now I've gotten some arcane orb scraps and some horn scraps. I used both of those materials to craft this item. I used arcane orb and horn scraps. I also used some of the legendary glowing stone gems to make those. This, frankly, is the hardest endgame material to acquire because it is needed on so many things. You need it to craft any of your offhands. You need it to craft your endgame or tier 2 necklace and rings. You need it to craft your tier 2 bracer as well, and you need it to craft any of the gear that you find that is based off of, so I am a magic caster, so erudite is my set. I also need this resource to craft that. Okay, that is a lot of information. As you go through and you fight enemies, you will pretty much gain like all of these resources here. You can use these for crafting gear and such. You will only gain these by disenchanting gear. You will only gain these by disenchanting. Well, you'll get this stuff, which you can also use the fortune fragments to buy a fortune map, which is basically, it's a map with a bunch of traps on it. And you gamble as to whether or not you can survive through it to get a possibly really good prize at the end. You can get some tier 2 or tier 3 gear. You can get an egg. A plain white egg. It's literally a gambling map. You can get an egg ring that gives you boosted experience. The Elven Fragments. This plays into one of the crafting maps, which I'll show you here in a second. You get 100,000 of these. You turn it into a Elven Capital Key, which once you hit Rupture level 75 or higher, you can find in a mining node a Elven Capital Portal, which goes along with this. Oh, level 70. Actually, they just updated this as well. So chance to discover access to ancient worlds when mining any node in a Rupture level 70 plus. So once you hit level 70, you have to have this skill acquired, which is level 1000 crafting. I'm currently 578. I can do some more crafting in the Rupture, which will be great. And I have to have a key on me as well. Breaking mining nodes, it'll spawn the portal. You can go in and you can get a lot of flint and dwarven stone in order to create some better gear or better gems. Sorry. Mounts and skins. So these are things that you can acquire in 2 different manners. One is subscribing to the Patreon. Different Patreon levels will give you different skins. Well, if you subscribe at the highest, it will give you all the skins that they have available. Some of these, actually, I think I won the Anubis skin here from a questionnaire, a little quiz challenge from El Bebo. So that's one way to get them. Another one is season rewards. For example, this legendary Mysidian Mammoth. This is a, I was in the top 10 on hardcore last season, so I got this mount. It was one of the seasonal rewards, so they do that stuff as well. I've gotten other things from seasonal rewards or challenges and stuff like that. A few of these I actually gained simply because of being a Patreon supporter. One of my favorites is actually this one, because it has such a high jump. I don't know if you can get this one on Patreon or not, but I'm choosing this skin because I'm a magic caster for this season. Also, normally camera's controlled with the mouse, as you can see. If you hold the Alt button, as you can see, the key bindings again, you can change this to whatever. It keeps your character in place and lets you free roam, so you can get a better look at your character. And so if I was to turn my cosmetics off, you can see my gear, which currently looks not great. I think it's because the chest is glitched. It should be showing a chest piece currently. Oh, there we go. There we go. So that chest piece is actually not for my set. You can take a look at it and stuff like that. So I'm going to turn my skin back on. And there we go. You can't see it anymore. So we've seen pretty much most of this stuff. You can see here, like I said earlier, the bone pieces turn into a Gravedigger's Code key, imbued runes for this. So I haven't actually, I don't think I've unlocked all of the, oh yeah, no. There is Olympus and Bridge of the Demigods keys that I have not yet unlocked because I haven't gotten into either high enough Rupture level or high enough character level. And I think it's Rupture level. Currently, there are minimum levels for these, and you'll come across them as you do them. For Alicia's Chamber, so this dragon egg here, you have to be, it'll pop you into a Rupture level 40. For the Gravedigger, it will pop you into a Rupture level 38. For the Underground, which is this one here, it will pop you into a level 45. Minlodor, which is this one, it'll pop you into level 60. Actually, so these next few are probably a little off. They probably tweaked some of those between last season and this season, so these might be a little different. But currently, my notes say Minlodor is level 60. Capital is actually, that one actually needs to be updated because we just confirmed it's level 70. Olympus is level 80, and then Bridge of the Demigods is level 100. So once you've completed or gotten to that Rupture level, you can then go into it. In order to go into these special maps, you have to use this. So, for example, we want to go into the Gravediggers, we can put it in there and hit activate. If we want to go into Alicia's Chamber, we do the same thing. This is, I'm not certain what that is yet. I think that's another endgame thing in either Bridge or Olympus. I'm not entirely certain. As for Infused, so if we want to use this Infused one, we just come here, pick our Rupture level, and then we click this. It will be consumed, gives you a little warning, whatnot. If you find out that you want to redo your skills, so you're not happy with your stat positioning, or you're not happy with all the quartz cards you have selected, and you want to reset those, and you also want to reset this tree. And again, I will get to that, sorry, in just a moment. You can come here, and it scales, it progressively goes up and up as you continue to redo it, but you can unlearn all of those. Now this, I should have touched on this earlier. Every level up to level 200, you will get 1 point. And each node is 1 point. There is, however, at the end of the Catacombs level 2, there is a vendor, and if you give him resources, he will allow you to learn 3 more points here. There is no, I saw somebody in Discord ask before, is there a build guide out there? No, currently there is no build guide. This skill tree has been in use for 3 or 4 seasons. It has changed a couple of times since then. There are some recommended paths, which you can ask for on Discord. I currently don't have one. This is not what I did last season. It's really close, but it's not quite the same. There are some points that I put in extra in other places that I didn't last time. There are some nodes that are important to get off the bat, like this one down here. Increase energy regeneration by 15% for 5 seconds. This is almost always the first one I go for. Energy regen in the beginning of the game is super hard, and it takes a while to get through. So you'll want to focus on that. And then you got these ones up here. So increase lightning and base armor by 1% stacks up to 150. Even if you aren't doing lightning damage, this gives you 1% base armor. So it'll give you 100% base armor up to 150 while you're in a rupture. Again, it has a chance to do this. It's not a guaranteed thing based on hit or kill. So you'll want it regardless if you're doing lightning or damage. Same with this one. This is fire and base damage by 1%. This one is arcane and crit damage by 1%. Again, each of these stacks up to 150, so these are really important ones to get, which is why you see I just kind of come across, I acquire it, and I move on. I'm doing arcane damage, so I did more of this here. I didn't do any of the extra ones in fire or lightning because I'm focusing on the arcane orb skill. And as you can see in my fossil here down at the bottom, I have arcane damage and arcane orb damage. These are by using the ability stone and the elemental stone in the advanced anvil. So there's arcane stone, which you turn 2 of them, 2 elemental stones into one arcane stone. And the fellowship map actually allows you to gain a lot of those, which is why I have so many high numbers there. And then the ability stone here, use 2 of the ability stones to turn into any of the abilities that they have. As you can see, they are color-coded by lightning, arcane, and fire. So you can see a list of all of the abilities that are available on the offhand slots. So you pick what you want, and you build off of that. If you find yourself wanting to change mid-season, and like right now I have 500% into arcane, and if I want to go lightning and I want to do spark or chain lightning or elemental or lightning dragons, I would lose out on a lot of bonuses, except, well, there's a modifier on your Dragonlings. Let's see, which one is it? Here we go, at the bottom. Fire abilities will also benefit from arcane bonuses. So the arcane bonus is on here, so the arcane damage. So the arcane orb damage won't apply, but the arcane damage bonus of 557 will apply to my fire skills. So the fact that I have 1 fire skill here, this is gaining the bonuses the same as these 2 are because of that 1 modifier down at the bottom there. And this, again, you gain those modifiers by turning in the scales in the Elysia Chamber map. Okay, I think that is pretty much it for progression. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, actually, as you're progressing through these beginning ruptures, you will see statues, which will have better gear in them. Actually, one of the things I failed to mention in the beginning outright is containers. You know what, let's just pop in, let's pop into a normal rupture, and we will show you what standard end looks like. So you will pop into one of, what was it, 24, and these containers will be strewn about, and they, as you can see at the top left, time essence. This one requires 20. There is a timer. Oh, here we go. Here we got one of the ancient runic chests. I have 2 keys, so I can use this to open it, and it has some better loot. Oh, hey. Oh, that's so just. Well, we'll take a look at that later, but we got some offhands, we got some experience items, we got some gems, we got some endgame gems, and we got some maps and some large gem, along with our first fortune map, which I can actually show you that later. It's super, actually, kind of sketchy. You got to be good at dodging. You have the ambassador here. He will turn 100,000 elven fragments, which are these, into, as I mentioned, the ambassador key, which gets you into the elven capital. He'll also turn 200,000 fortune fragments into ambassador key here, or you can turn 20,000 fragments into one of those. Since I've got 90,000, I'm going to buy one of those. Now we got 2 of those, and we got 71,000 left. You can see you can buy those here. Those, I believe, are in every Rupture now. There are containers strewn about, and there's combat areas. As you see, the density of the monsters is a lot heavier here. So I'm going to use my primary skill. I'm going to fight some monsters. You can see my time essence is growing. I'm getting a little bit of extra lag. That's probably due to this map. Usually this isn't so heavy. Some maps are a little laggier than others. That's okay. Just leveled up. You can see kind of in the middle and in the bottom right, I'm gaining resources. When you first start out, things will not be this easy. As it is, I need to level up because I'm killing things too fast. I need to get into higher ruptures. But I want to complete every single rupture along the way because, again, those give me quartz. And those quartz will increase my stats, other things that I can. So we've got 500 time essence. We're good to go. Oh, there's another ancient one. I don't care for that. So I could spend my time running around picking up these containers if I want to. Oh, hey, actually, this one right here. This is one to keep an eye out for. It gives you slimes. And I'm going to get 3 essence slimes. I just got 300 essence. You have a chance to get a number of different slimes in there. You'll have to experience them and find out what they can do. This right here is Path to the Rupture Lord. You open that and see in the bottom right, Bag of Time Essence. Now have 1 more Time Essence. Once I complete or finish off the boss, I'll get another quartz. So each boss arena, most of them used to be like this. A bunch of them have been swapped to be mid-level. Okay, so this boss has spawned in some ads. They can also attack you. I'm going to focus on them because I don't want them trying to fight me. Oh, and he spawned in more. You can see the blue circles are from them. The purple things on the ground are actually from me, so I'm going to run around and pick those up. Those give me damage bonuses. Those are from my Dragonling. Boss is down. There we go. So, boss chest. Here's the quartz. Here's some experience items, some gems. Oh, and we got a Dragonling blood. Okay, that's very nice. This along with the imbued Dwarven runes and ancient runic keys, these can all spawn in here. We got a piece of gear for the ranger set, which is not what I need. Unfortunately, I haven't found anything better. So, go ahead and take that. We got a Dragonling cage over here. Open this up. We can see this is currently this is the now new standard for what you find on Dragonlings is an elemental explosion. So this is arcane, so it'll do arcane damage when the bodies die. There's a chance for that to happen. Your Dragonlings will pick up all loot containers, or all loot bags that drop from the enemies. Instead of you having to run around and pick them up, until you reach level 100, you will have to manually run around and pick them up, or get close enough to grab them. This changes that. Anything that dies within range is automatically picked up, and also gains the 1% additional damage for extra inventory slots. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this one, because I'm going to need that for later. I'm going to go ahead and grab a handful more containers here. I've got plenty of time on my Rupture. Unfortunately, because I've gone into the boss zone, I can no longer go back and farm out monsters or get the containers that are left behind. These are mining nodes. One of your 2 skills will just outright destroy them. The other one will take a minute, but you can break it down that way as well. As you can see, I've been picking up gems randomly, so there'll be little gem things around. You can run over them, and you can pick up gems. You have kind of a random pool that it will give you different quantities, different types, stuff like that. Like, that one was 2 stance gems instead of 1, like the other 2 would give me. Alright, so we're done. Right now, the home portal doesn't always appear. Sometimes it shows up way up there. But if it doesn't show up, I can hit Shift B, and I can, again, because that's the keybind I put it on. So, I completed the new Rupture level. He does not have an upgrade for me. That's kind of unfortunate. But we've got all this gear sitting over here. I don't want to sit here and, click, click, click. So I'm going to hit Transfer All. Disenchant it all. Now, in purples and whites, I'm going to hold on to that one because it's so, as you can see, it's got a green arrow indicating a base increase in your combat ability. I'll show you a little bit more on that in just a minute. These are all reds. These are different weapon types, so those are definitely not going to be good for me. I've actually got a tier 3 piece of gear here. It's for the wrong set, but it's actually really high. Critical chance, critical damage, base damage, base armor, and stuff like that is higher than pretty much any other type of gear that you will find. So I'm going to disenchant those. It gives me the materials. And okay, so I got a bunch of these. Let's see. Ferocity, Wolves, Chain Lightning, and Arcane Orb. Ooh, actually, hold on. I'm going to hold on to that one for a second. I want to take a look at that. So I'm going to disenchant that, and it gives me all of these resources that I want. Now, we got our extra Dragonling. We're going to disenchant that, and it gives me Dragonling Blood. I can now technically make 2 of these. And I'm probably not going to need those. Alright, so everything else seems to be cleared out. I'm going to go ahead and just right-click those, and they automatically toss into there. Now, Arcane Orb, 51% for 340. Ooh, yes. So I'm going to get a pretty much 30% damage increase and a 5% chance increase. It also changed the modifier. So this will shoot at 2 orbs instead of 1, but because I've got 2 offhands with the same modifier, I kind of want to swap it out. But most of these because it has better damage. Now, you have combat rating here, which is what this sees. Combat rating is based off damage, critical chance, critical damage. These 3 pieces play into this. Critical chance has the heaviest rating, critical damage has next highest, and then damage itself has the lowest weight into your combat rating. So I'm going to toss this in. My damage goes up, my critical chance goes down, but my critical damage goes up. So my combat rating overall increases. So I gain about 300 damage. I lose 5% critical chance, and I gain, what's it, 50-ish critical damage. So I think I'm actually going to keep that. Critical chance will change based on combat. So you don't have to worry too much about it maxing out at 100% before you go into a Rupture, because we'll have skills that activate in here that will give you higher critical chance. Let's see. Like, actually, there's one down here. Increase critical chance for 5 seconds. This is one that will, so it gives you 10%. And this is pretty much very constantly up based on your, how often you're hitting the enemies. So, you can see in the bottom here, we level up while we were in there, and it's showing you here, you hit tab, and you have available skill points. 1, I'm going to put that into stamina. Health is really important. As for your stat spread, in the beginning, strength you'll want to do. Once you start getting end game, you want to do stamina. The other stats are, I mean, it's up to you which way you want to go. If you want to go all strength to increase your damage, you run the risk of not having enough health for fighting or being able to get hit and surviving. If you have any intention on being hardcore, I highly suggest you stack stamina. But each stat has different impacts on your other resources and stuff. Now that we're done with those, I'm going to toss those in, disenchant that. And so that's pretty much it. That's how this works. That's how what the vendors do and how do you progress through this. Just as a little bit of a showcase, so take a look at the leaderboard. I'm currently placed 31. See me. So my account name is this. My character's name is this. You can see by the fact that I am white named, I've actually died 3 times. You can also see the maps that I've completed. So I've done the Underground, I've done the Gravedigger, I've done the Ancient Catacombs 2, I've done Ancient Catacombs 1, I've done the Elysia map, and the Hourglass map. The Hourglass is actually from a rare mob that actually looks a lot like this guy. Just a lot bigger. And he will drop something similar to this, but it'll be glowy and white, and when you interact with it, you will go into a Rupture that is 3 levels higher than your last completed. So if you do a Catacombs, and one of these shows up, unless if you can, so Catacombs is 50 levels higher than your highest completed Rupture. Since we have completed 61, I will get a, would there be 111 Catacombs? And then if I came out of the Catacombs and this popped up, I would have a 114 level Rupture. And since I've only done 61, I don't have a chance of completing that. So you got to be careful. But what we will do is I will show you what the Fortune Tome looks like. That's where we will wrap up. You spawn in, you can't jump, you can't mount, you cannot use your potions, and each time you will get a little notification. You can use your skills, but you also can't roll. You will have to pay attention to what skills are on the ground, the timings of them, when they will go away and stuff like that. You'll have Earthquake that shows up. This you'll run across in the endgame Ruptures. But this will help train you on... Oh, I'm going to get hit by that one. Yep. It helps train you on timing, spacing, stuff like that for all of the other things, or all the traps that there are. I'm not making any progress here. Yep, I'm stuck. So these will spawn in random positions at random times. I'm going to actually push this one. Nope, get out of that. I might die. Yep, I'm dead. Okay. I pushed it too much, and I died. That is unfortunate. I was so close to getting to that map. I wanted to push past the next Earthquake. Earthquake is super dangerous, but that is Fortune Tome map, and it's your gambling map. So, that being said, again, I believe that is all we have for the beginner's guide. If you have any questions, you want any more information, you want a good community to hang out with, check out the Discord. Again, it's on the escape menu, it's on the main menu. I think they also have it in their Steam page. So go check out Dwarven Realms. Again, it is being made by Craterman and Elbebo brothers as well. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. Super cool group of guys. Go check them out. There'll also be a link in the description below to Crater's YouTube and their Discord if you want to go check them out. Great group. Lots of fun BS in Discord and sharing information. And a great time. So, until then, y'all have yourself a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. Thanks for being here. See you there. Bye now.